Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's been just about 100 hours since the House Republican leadership released their tax plan, finally, not only to the American people, but also to their own rank-and-file members. I represent a great district. It's eastern Connecticut. It's about half the state geographically, and it's home to the University of Connecticut, Electric Boat Shipyard, Groton Navy Base, Coast Guard Academy. I'm very proud of the fact that these are really sharp folks. And in that less than 100-hour period, I've had about 700 emails and calls into my office from people who have looked at this plan, have run the numbers, have looked at what the existing tax code provides, and looks at what the net impact will be if this plan were ever to become law. Lewis from Norwich, Connecticut, who is a tax preparer, describes a neighbor of his who's 68 years old. She lives by herself. She earns $33,000 in pension and Social Security income, of only which $21,000 is taxable, and she has a small mortgage. She looked at the Republican tax plan, which includes a standard deduction of $12,500, and that's it. And her new tax will be $1,014 if that plan were to go into effect. Under existing law, the itemized deductions that she can claim today are roughly about $12,500, the same amount as the standard deduction, but she's also able to claim a personal exemption, which every American is entitled to under the existing tax code. And with that existing plan, her net taxes are $445. So this tax plan will more than double her taxes. Now, $33,000 a year for a 68-year-old, I would say that's barely middle class, but certainly it's middle class for under a lot of definitions as a homeowner, and yet this tax plan is increasing her taxes by over 100%. Mark from Clinton contacted me about the fact that this tax plan is going to eliminate the deduction for qualified medical expenses above 10% of your adjusted gross income. What does that mean? If you've got medical expenses for eyeglasses, hearing aids, or you have someone in a nursing home that you're paying out-of-pocket expenses for, or you have a home health care aide coming into your office that's not covered under your insurance, you can deduct that off your taxes to the extent that it exceeds 10% of your adjusted gross income. Mark from Clinton is one of those people. And Clinton, Connecticut is a very middle-class community. His taxes are going up. That qualified medical deduction, again, is something that was repeated over and over from individuals who contacted my office who can't believe it. That, again, they're doing the right thing. They're paying their bills for their health care, for themselves or for their kids or for their aunt or their parent, and they're losing that deduction. And I'm sorry, the standard deduction that's being offered as a compensation doesn't come close to helping an individual in that situation. In addition, the state tax deduction, which present tax code allows, is gone under this proposal. And in the state of Connecticut, they've calculated that families that earn between $50,000 and $200,000 a year will see their taxes increase by 14% under this proposal. So, Mr. Speaker, I mean, we're talking about a plan which was sold to the country as a tax cut for the middle class. And again, there's lots of other economic incentives that they put in there, supposedly for corporations to cut their corporate tax rate and cut the rates for people in the top 1%. Again, it's totally imbalanced, but I'm going to set that aside for a moment, because what was also guaranteed and promised was that middle-class Americans would see their taxes going down. And as Lewis from Norwich and Mark from Clinton and Jason from Niantic, who's going to lose his college student loan interest rate deduction, they eliminate the college student loan interest rate deduction. Again, we're living at a time right now where student loan debt is $1.3 trillion. People, one of the few ways that you can manage that debt is being able to deduct it off your taxes. That is being eliminated under the House Republican plan. Now, if I sound a little worked up, it's because, folks, literally within minutes, the House Ways and Means Committee is going to start marking up this bill. Not one hearing is being held from outside voices to sort of at least crunch through the numbers of this proposal. And the plan is for the Speaker, Ryan, to force a vote next week. We're talking less than 10 days for rewriting the U.S. tax code, which has not been rewritten since 1986. When it was done under President Reagan, It took a year for the process to unfold, and that was the right way to do it, to allow the subcommittees to take a look at their provisions of the tax code on the Ways and Means Committee, to hold hearings, to actually have an intelligent, thoughtful exchange of ideas before you mark it up, rather than jamming it to the floor when you're taking away people's qualified medical expenses. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The credit that people get, the deduction that people get for dependent care assistance programs. If you've got a kid who's developmentally disabled and needs a personal care attendant in your home right now, you can deduct that. That's being taken away. This is a bad plan. We need to slow down. We need to give the American people a chance to understand this better. And again, I call on the Ways and Means Committee to again, slow down and cancel the hearings that are the markups that are scheduled this week. I yield back.